Hey guys, what's up? It's the undeniable diamond of TNA wrestling, La Peligrosa, La Única, Tessa Blanchard. And you're watching Pinfalls and Pixels, where wrestling meets gaming, hosted by my friend, Glocky.
Today, we're diving into a story that's equal parts wrestling, Hollywood, and ambition gone wild. It's the rise and fall of WWE Studios, originally known as WWF Films, a company that tried to turn suplexes into silver screen success. From producing cult classics to pumping out straight-to-DVD action flicks, WWE Studios has had a wild ride over the past 2 decades. So grab your popcorn, put on your wrestling boots, and let's step back into the ring to unpack this saga. To understand WWE Studios, we've got to go back to the beginning, way before it even had that name. Picture this: it's the late 1980s and the World Wrestling Federation is riding high. Hulk Hogan's the biggest name in entertainment, WrestleMania is packing arenas, and Vince McMahon's dreaming bigger than a steel cage match. Wrestling is already a hybrid of sport and theater, so why not take that larger-than-life energy to the movies? That's where No Holds Barred comes in. In 1989, WWF dipped its toes into Hollywood with No Holds Barred, starring Hulk Hogan as Rip, a heroic wrestler battling a shady TV exec named Brel. Produced under the Shane Distribution Company banner, a precursor to WWE Studios, this wasn't just a movie. It was an $8 million experiment. Released on June 2, 1989, it grossed $16.1 million at the box office against that $8 million budget. Not a blockbuster by today's standards, but for a wrestling movie, that's a decent victory. Now, No Holds Barred wasn't winning any Oscars. Critics hated it. Roger Ebert gave it half a star, calling it so stupendously idiotic that it's almost fascinating. But for WWF fans, it was pure gold. Hogan flexing, fighting, and delivering lines like "Rip 'em," it was wrestling on the big screen. More importantly, it planted a seed in Vince McMahon's mind. Maybe there's a future in this film thing. But it would be over a decade before that seed sprouted into something official. Fast forward to 2002. The WWF is now WWE after losing a lawsuit to the World Wildlife Fund. The company is a global juggernaut, with Raw and SmackDown pulling millions of viewers weekly. Vince saw an opportunity to expand the WWE brand beyond the ring. Enter WWE Films, officially formed in 2002. The mission? Turn WWE's roster of superstars into movie stars, using their built-in fan base to rake in box office bucks. Joel Simon was tapped as president, a guy with a background in entertainment marketing. His pitch was simple: WWE's already in the entertainment business. Why not go all in? It made sense. Wrestlers like The Rock were already breaking into Hollywood. His 2002 hit, produced by WWE Films, The Scorpion King, grossed $180 million worldwide. WWE Films aimed to capitalize on that momentum. WWE Films hit the ground running in 2005, announcing its first big trio of projects: The Marine with John Cena, See No Evil with Kane, and The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin. These were not low-budget indie movies. Each had a reported budget of around $20 million, a hefty investment for a wrestling company dipping into cinema. The strategy? Action-packed genre films starring WWE's top talent, aimed squarely at their 18 to 34 male demographic. Let's start with See No Evil. Released May 19, 2006, this slasher flick starred Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane, as Jacob Goodnight, a hulking psychopath with a hook and a grudge. Directed by Gregory Dark and distributed by Lionsgate, box office numbers? $18.8 million worldwide. Not a smash hit, but it would double its money on DVD, selling over 1.2 million units in its first year. For a horror film with a wrestler in the lead, that's a solid chokehold on the market. Then came The Marine in October of 2006. John Cena, fresh off becoming WWE Champion, starred as John Triton, a discharged Marine rescuing his kidnapped wife. This was peak Cena: hustle, loyalty, respect, and all that jazz. It had a $20 million budget as well and pulled in $22.2 million at the box office. Again, not a mega hit, but DVD sales were the real champ here. Over 1.5 million copies sold by 2007. WWE was learning fast. Theatrical releases built buzz, but home video was where the money piled up. Next up, The Condemned in April of 2007. Stone Cold Steve Austin played Jack Conrad, a death row inmate forced to fight in a brutal survival game. This was basically a Fortnite match full of inmates fighting for their freedom. Another $20 million budget, and this one grossed $8.6 million in theaters, a flop by any measure. But here's the kicker: it sold 1.3 million DVDs, raking in over $25 million in home video revenue. WWE Films was hitting a pattern: modest theatrical runs, massive DVD success. By 2007, these three films alone had generated over $75 million in combined DVD sales, proving there was a hungry audience for wrestler-led action. In 2008, WWE Films rebranded to WWE Studios. That year, they would ink a deal with 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment for 1 theatrical release and 4 straight-to-DVD films. The shift would be strategic. Theatrical releases were expensive and risky, but DVDs? That's where WWE's loyal fanbase lived. This was the peak of WWE Studios' rise. From 2006 to 2009, they were churning out content, building a library, and raking in cash, mostly from DVDs. They weren't competing with Pixar or Marvel, but they didn't have to. Their formula was working. Take a wrestler, give them a gun or a monster to fight, and let the fans eat it up. But as we'll see, the good times wouldn't last forever. By 2009, WWE Studios was feeling confident. They'd cracked the action flick code, so why not branch out? They announced That's What I Am, a drama starring Ed Harris. No wrestlers in the lead, a first for them. Then came Legendary in 2010, a wrestling drama with Patricia Clarkson, Danny Glover, and John Cena in a supporting role. The budget? $5 million. The box office? Just $200,000. Ouch. But it sold decently on DVD, about 300,000 units, showing fans still showed up for Cena, even in a quieter role. Also in 2010, Knucklehead dropped, a comedy starring The Big Show as a gentle giant turned fighter. It went straight to DVD, selling around 250,000 copies. Then in 2011, The Chaperone with Triple H as an ex-con turned bus driver hit shelves, moving around 200,000 units. These films weren't setting the world on fire, but they were low-risk, low-budget bets, typically $5 million or less, keeping WWE Studios in the game. In 2012, they would once again team up with 20th Century Fox for a 3-film DVD deal. The Marine 3 Homefront with The Miz, 12 Rounds Reloaded with Randy Orton, and more. The Marine 3 sold 400,000 DVDs, a solid win. They also grabbed distribution rights for indie hits like The Day, a post-apocalyptic thriller with Shawn Ashmore, and No One Lives, a horror flick with Luke Evans and Brodus Clay. These moves showed WWE Studios wasn't just a wrestler factory anymore. They wanted to be a legit player in Hollywood. The Rock's shadow loomed large here. His success, Fast 5 in 2011, grossed $626 million, pushing WWE Studios to chase bigger stars and projects. In 2013, they partnered with Hyde Park Entertainment for The Fall Guy. a planned adaptation of the 80s TV show starring Dwayne Johnson. It would never materialize under WWE, but it hinted at their ambitions. In 2014, they teamed with Lionsgate for 6 films, including Vendetta with Big Show and 12 Rounds 3 Lockdown with Dean Ambrose. They also tried comedy with Jingle All the Way 2, starring Larry the Cable Guy and Santino Marella. 300,000 DVDs sold, not bad for a sequel to an Arnold flick. From 2009 to 2014, WWE Studios released over 20 films, a mix of theatrical, DVD, and co-productions. Total revenue from DVD sales alone topped $150 million by 2014, with theatrical grosses adding another $50 million. They weren't blockbuster kings, but they'd built a nice empire. So why did it all start to crumble? The fall of WWE Studios wasn't a single suplex, it was a slow, grinding submission hold. By 2015, the DVD market was dying, streaming was king, and physical media sales dropped industry-wide by 10 to 15% annually. WWE Studios' bread and butter, those $20 million DVD hauls, were shrinking. Take the Marine 4 moving target with The Miz in 2015. It sold 150,000 copies, half of what the Marine 3 did just 3 years earlier. They tried adapting. In 2013, The Call, a thriller with Halle Berry and David Otunga, grossed $68.5 million theatrical against a $13 million budget. WWE Studios co-produced it, their biggest box office win ever. But here's the catch. It wasn't a WWE film in the classic sense. No wrestler lead, no action hero vibes, but it didn't fit their brand. Then there's the family pivot. WWE's TV went PG in 2008, and by 2015 they were targeting kids with stuff like Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones. These animated flicks sold okay, around 200,000 DVDs each, but they alienated the hardcore 18 to 34 fans who loved The Condemned. WWE Studios was caught between two worlds, gritty action for adults and kid-friendly fluff. Neither fully worked. They kept swinging though. In 2015, WWE Studios co-produced Terminator Genisys with Paramount, a $155 million budget with a $440 million worldwide gross. Big wins, right? Well, not really, because WWE's role was minor, financing and marketing support, not creative control. While they got a slice of the pie, it wasn't their pie. Meanwhile, their own projects like the Marine 5 in 2017 barely moved 100,000 DVDs. By 2020, the numbers told the story. From 2015 to 2020, WWE Studios released 15 films, but DVD sales plummeted to under 2 million total units, down from the 5 million in the 2009 to 2014 stretch. So is WWE Studios dead? Well, not quite. They've pivoted once again, this time to streaming and TV. In 2020, The Main Event dropped on Netflix, a kid-friendly wrestling comedy co-produced with Eddie Murphy's team. No box office, no DVDs, just streams. And it hit Netflix's top 10 briefly. Then, in 2021, Escape the Undertaker, an interactive Netflix film with The New Day, leaned into WWE's quirky charm. These projects show they're still kicking, but the scale's smaller. They've also gone reality heavy. Shows like Fight Like a Girl on QB and WWE Evil on Peacock in 2022 lean on WWE storytelling roots, not Hollywood flair. Film-wise, they're down to 1 or 2 releases a year. Mostly co-productions like The Big Show show on Netflix in 2020. Revenue would stabilize about $5 million annually from streaming and TV deals, but it's a far cry from the DVD glory days. WWE Studios' parent company, TKO Group Holdings, formed in 2023 after merging with the UFC, and they don't seem to care about films anymore. So what made WWE Studios rise? Timing and fan loyalty. In the mid-2000s, DVDs were booming. Global sales hit $23 billion in 2007. WWE's audience, millions strong from Raw and SmackDown, bought anything with their heroes on it. Having low budgets and big personalities kept costs down and profits up. From 2005 to 2014, they turned $100 million in production costs into over $200 million in revenue. That's a winning streak. But the fall? It's a classic case of the market shift and identity crisis. DVD sales crashed, down to $4 billion globally by 2020. Plus, WWE Studios couldn't decide what it was: a wrestler showcase, a family brand, or a Hollywood player. Trying to beat all three kinda diluted their punch. WWE Studios isn't gone, but its Hollywood dreams are mostly over. They left a legacy: over 50 films, a blueprint for leveraging fandom, and a few gems like The Marine and Cena Weevil that still have cult followings. What was your favorite WWE studio film? Do you remember watching any of these in theaters? Let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more wrestling videos. Thanks for watching. This is Glocky, and I'll catch you next time.